will begin with Disability Without Poverty. Ms. Khedr, the floor is yours, and you have 5 minutes. Where's my earpiece?
Thank you very much. I am honored to be here before this committee, and I come to you from Mississauga, Ontario, the traditional territories of the Mississaugas of the New Credit, and my colleague is joining us by Zoom from Quebec City. I testify before you not to read off our brief or bring forward any significant new evidence supporting the CDB. You have heard from many credible witnesses to date. You will continue to hear from more witnesses. My colleagues and I have met with many of you individually to discuss disability poverty and have shared the fact that over 41% of people with disabilities, people living in poverty, in fact, are people with disabilities. And 50% of people food insecure are disabled people. And things are just going from bad to worse for the over 1.4 million people with disabilities living in poverty in Canada. Today, I am here to speak to you about C22, not only in my capacity as the National Director of Disability Without Poverty, but as a person with a disability, with a lifetime of experience in self-advocacy and for advocating for siblings with complex disabilities. I came to this country as an immigrant child. I always say, thank God that I grew up in Canada. Thank God I grew up in Canada because Canada is the best and I have the right to voice for more and make it even better. This is why I'm here today. On this 29th day of Ramadan, sacrificing my fast because this is how important this issue is to me. I know that if I grew up in the village that I was born in, I would be forced into a lifetime of hardship and marginalization. I was only able to overcome all of this because I had access to education, overcoming some of the barriers that I face, and was able to earn as a fully employed member of society, an adequate career, and supporting others around me. My brother with a developmental disability will not have to experience poverty simply because we're there to support him. Not every person with a disability in this country is that lucky. Not every racialized woman with a disability has the opportunities that I have been blessed to have. It breaks my heart as a disabled person to find that people have to trade off important things in order to afford a meal. For example, I was in a parking lot one day going to buy my groceries, and W approached me. He was in a wheelchair. He offered me his bus ticket, his only means of getting home, for me to buy him some food that day because he was really hungry. It brought tears to my eyes. It broke my heart because this is not my Canada. This is what I'm used to seeing when I travel in developing countries. No one should have to do that in this country. Look at the bleak market where people with disabilities are selling their wheelchairs and their medications in order to buy food or to do something nice for their child. It is time to end disability poverty in this country by passing C22 swiftly. Over 89% of Canadians agreed with us that it's time to end disability poverty through an Angus Reid survey, encouraging us and empowering us to build a national movement from C to C to C to do this very job of raising awareness on disability poverty and empowering us to expedite the benefit. Celebrities, artists, unions, corporations, everybody has come on board with this movement. The Senate is our social conscience that upholds Canadian values and does its due diligence to ensure sober second thought in this democracy. We appreciate your hard work and welcome any technical changes that you wish to make to this bill. We implore you to avoid any substantive changes that will trigger additional debate and risk delaying this bill or having it end on the order paper. We are dedicated to working with the system to resolve any of the concerns that we have through regulations. We support the framework because it will help end disability poverty and bring about the systems change that we so desperately need in this country.
Thank you, Ms. Khedr. I note that Ms. Lowe was going to share your time, but your time is out. Perhaps Ms. Lowe will be able to insert her point of view during the question and answer period.